All right, so you guys, we are in the last 1/3-ish of the course, yes? Tonight we're going to do just the first half of this topic, and then we will finish the second half of it next week. That's how I always do this chapter, okay? And what I reminded myself on the computer is I have Word open. I'm going to show you at the end of my little presentation after the video how to do your org charts for your business plan for next week. It's super, super simple. The more complicated part is figuring out what kind of org chart you want to create. Creating it'll take you literally 3 minutes, okay? But the point of this lecture is to explain to you guys what different types of organizational structure exist inside different types of organizations, okay? And actually, to answer that, there's 5. There are 5 different types of organizational structures, and I'm going to show you all of those in the second half of this chapter, but tonight, okay? The second half of the first part of this chapter tonight. Got it? Good. Okay, so we're going to talk about management. So let's start there. There are 3 things you all will manage in your careers. What are they? What will you manage in your careers? Whether you are an entrepreneur, whether you go work for a big company, a small company, there are 3 aspects that you will manage. What are they?
Staff, inventory.
People, products. Give me one more P. People, products, one more P.
Property.
No. Processes. People, product, and processes. Let's think about this for a second. So, some managers manage people. That's the type of manager that we always think of. Yes? Agree? Right? Like, I manage 1 person, I manage 10 people, I manage 1,000 people. But not every manager is a manager of people. When I was a buyer at Bloomingdale's, I didn't manage anybody, really had no direct reports, but I was a manager. What did I manage? Products. I was responsible for managing products, right? And then what are processes? You understand what people are, you understand what products are. What are processes?
That's creating plans.
Good.
and like just different kinds of business tactics.
Sure. It is how things get done. That's what processes are. Processes are the plan for how things get done, okay? And so there are managers who manage processes, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Part of my presentation tonight gets a little bit psychological, because you know something, you guys? To be a good manager, you need to understand psychology. You need to understand how to use psychology against people. You do. You need to understand how to manipulate people a little bit. Good managers know how to manipulate. I want to talk a little bit about manipulation tonight, all right? Because a good manager understands how to take what they're dealing with and manipulate. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. Okay, let's get into this. And my thingamabob does work. Let's start with the 4 functions of management. Does anybody have Dr. Stanley for management this term? Are you guys in a management class? Anybody? Okay, so hopefully this sounds like a whole bunch of redundant stuff for you. At least maybe this first piece, okay? But maybe I will give my own spin to it. So we'll compare, all right? So every manager, don't confuse this with people, products, processes. That's what a manager manages. But every manager performs 4 functions. And we're gonna really, this whole chapter, or majority of this chapter, is about these 4 functions. Tonight, we're gonna talk about 2 of these functions, and next week we're gonna talk about the other 2 functions, okay? But I wanna explain all 4 of them to you right now. Okay, so a manager performs 4 functions: planning, leading, organizing, and controlling, all right? We're gonna dive deep into each of them, but let me just give you a big picture definition. Planning is figuring out what needs to be done and how the heck we're gonna do it, okay? Figuring out what needs to get done and how we are going to do it. Look, most managers can pretty much figure out what needs to get done, but not every manager knows how to do it. Agree? I'm seeing heads shake, right? You've had those kind of managers? They can crack the whip, they know to tell you what to do, but they don't know how to actually accomplish the small picture task, the big picture task, the medium picture task. Okay, so planning, figuring out what needs to get done, and then coming up with a roadmap for how to do it. Okay. Another way of defining it is setting goals. We're going to talk more about that in a second. I'm going to ask you guys about your New Year's resolutions because I think they're a great example of the problem with goal setting. Okay, we'll get back to that. Okay, does everybody understand planning? Yes?
Yes.
Setting goals, figuring out what we need to do and how the heck we're going to do it. Okay. The other one we're going to talk about tonight is organizing, obviously. Okay? When I say organizing, what am I talking about? Am I talking about like cleaning up the stock room? Am I talking about like, folding clothes? Am I talking about cleaning up the supply cabinet at work? What do I mean what are we organizing?
The structure for how it works. I'm gonna explain it.
All right, not a bad place to start.
Maybe
What are we organizing? Protocols, I heard?
Or organizing people into like specific groups.
That's it, people. We are organizing people. We are giving an organization. There's two words, that's the two same words in a definition. Okay, we are organizing people. Now, how do we organize people? Well, we put them into logical groups. Okay? We put them into logical groups. So for example, if all of you guys do different forms of marketing and you all report to me, but you do the same type of function, but you all report to me, what have I just created?
Group.
Give me another word for group.
Team.
Give me another word for team in a company setting. What would we call this?
Firm.
It's not the whole company, it's just one area.
A department or.
Department. You got it. It's a department, right? What is a department? A department is just a logical group of people put together under one or more managers who do similar functions of work. Okay? So that's organization. That's really what I want to talk about tonight is how are you guys going to organize your companies? We're going to look at 5 different ways you can do it. Okay? Okay. Leading, which we're going to talk about next week, is guiding and motivating employees. It's getting people to give a shit, right? It's uniting people in a common goal or mission or getting them to care. Sometimes it's getting people to drink the Kool-Aid. Do you all know what that means, drinking the Kool-Aid?
Even to believe in your ideology.
Yeah, believe. For better or worse. Believe in what the company is, believe in what our product is, believe in what our culture is, believe in who our leaders are, believe in whatever it is we're trying to do, right, as an organization, okay? So that's leading, guiding and motivating and uniting, and we'll talk about that next week. And then the last part, which we're really not going to talk about much at all, is control. When I say the word control, I'm talking about measuring, monitoring, measuring. What can we measure?
Well, essentially the whole concept behind control is that when you create a plan or something like that, once you finish everything, you want to go back and see what went right, what went wrong.
Super. Okay, here's a great segue into my New Year's resolution. So let's go there now, okay? How many of you have ever set a New Year's resolution? Almost every single one of you? Okay. Share with me some of your New Year's resolutions, but exactly as you kind of stated them. Either you wrote them down or they're in your head or whatever. What were your New Year's resolutions?
Go to the gym more.
I love it, okay? And you follow me on Instagram, so you know I go most days. What else you got?
Stop buying shoes. Well, Jordan.
Stop buying shoes. What else you got?
Read daily.
What is it?
Read daily.
Read daily. Sweet. I like that. I guess I do that. I do read daily. I do. I wake up every morning, I'll tell you guys. I subscribe to this news digest, and I get an email in the morning telling me everything that's going on. It's nice. It's called 1440. You should Google it if you. It's I love. That's how I start my day. The minute I wake up, I open my email from 1440, and I read the digest. It tells me everything that's going on. That's good. So I do.
Is it an easy read?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, it's just sound bites, quick read. Yes, and then they give you a lot of links. So if you want to read more, you don't have to, but you can. They give you all the links. It's called 1440. Check it out. An unpaid sales pitch. What else? Give me your New Year's resolutions. Well, the age-old to lose weight always comes up, right? What else? Lose weight, work out more, read daily. How about save money? That was kind of your part, right?
Yeah.
Save money. What else you got?
Buy a house, buy a car.
buy a house, buy a car, go to school, go back to school, get back to school. Okay, great. Okay, so what's the problem with all of these New Year's resolutions?
We don't follow.
We don't follow through. There's no
I said direction.
direction is a good word. I'll give you another word. Accountability. Can't measure it. You cannot stop and assess these things. So for example, like, my goal is to go to the gym more. Well, first of all, define more, and also like, you know, how many of you go to the gym and you see people like just bullshitting on the gym floor for like an hour and then they like, you know, leave? Yeah? So, okay, like, is that really the New Year's resolution, or is the New Year's resolution to burn 600 calories 4 days a week? Is that really the New Year's resolution? Is that really the thing that would get us to the ultimate goal, which is maybe to put on more muscle or to lose more weight or to whatever the case is, right? So is the goal really just to go to the gym, or is the goal to burn 500 calories 4 days a week?
Or lose a certain amount of pounds.
Or lose a certain amount of pounds. Now, I have news for you. You're all gonna lose a certain number of pounds. Every one of you will, when you're 6 feet under.
Yeah.
So exactly when is it, you're looking at me like, what? Exactly when is it that we want to lose these 10 pounds? Do we want to lose the 10 pounds by May 31st? And do we want to lose the 10 pounds and 3 inches off our waist by May 31st by burning those 400 calories a day times 4 days a week? Okay, so that's what I'm getting at. The control piece of management is stopping at any point to measure whether it is that we are either accomplishing or not accomplishing whatever the goals are that we set out with. Now, I want to make another statement. I said to you guys earlier that any manager can come up with like a what needs to get done, but lots of managers don't know how to do the work, yes? And the main thing is, lots of managers can like set sales goals or set whatever goals, but they don't necessarily know what to do when those goals aren't being accomplished, right? And a lot of managers never even stop to measure the goals, okay? Look, the age-old lose the weight. You could set that New Year's resolution and lose no weight. You could set that New Year's resolution and gain weight, right? So we have to set specific, measurable,
Smart.
action-oriented, it's exactly where I'm going, relevant. The R in SMART is relevant. People want to, do you have a different word for?
We use SMART goals for our treatment plans
Oh,
for
good.
patients.
Beautiful.
So it'll be specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely.
Okay,
Yeah.
so my A is always action oriented
Okay.
in a management perspective, because people that you're managing, they need to know, what do I need to do? Tell me the actions you want me to take. Tell me what I need to do. The R in management is relevant. Tell me why. So like, if a manager comes to you and says, I need you to hit this sales goal, why? Wouldn't it be that much more relevant if you understood that your sales goal was a part of a bigger sales goal that helps a company to meet its annual sales goal, and if we do that, something good is gonna come out. Like, you're all gonna get a piece of the profit. Called profit sharing, okay? So, my point is that good managers know how to set SMART goals, and then they stop and measure those goals. Okay, that's a big overview of the chapter. How are you feeling? 4 management functions. Got it? All managers perform these 4 functions. Tonight we're going to talk just about the first 2, planning and organizing. Cool? Okay, so let's get into planning. I'm going to tell you a story about this chick right here, Andrea Jung. You heard of her, Andrea Jung? Did I ever mention her in class before? No? Okay, well let me start. Andrea Jung has been the CEO and chairman, although one of those titles has recently gone away, of Avon Incorporated. You all know Avon? Avon is like Mary Kay. Yeah? So it's a direct-to-consumer cosmetic. Do you sell it?
No, I don't like Avon.
Oh, you don't like Avon? Gotcha.
I said unfortunately.
Okay,
No.
gotcha. Jennifer is like, no Avon. So they're like a direct competitor to Mary Kay. Okay, when Andrea Jung came aboard, and by the way, I want to tell you who her husband is, random side note. Her husband was the chairman and CEO of Bloomingdale's, the department store that I used to work for. So man, talk about power couple, right? So when Andrea Jung came to become the CEO of Avon, she had a big fat mess on her hands at this company, okay? What was wrong? Well, a lot was wrong, man. The marketing was out of date, the products were out of date. I mean, Jennifer could probably tell us, right? There were a lot of issues inside the company. The company was becoming, it was an image of being out of date, okay? Out of date. Maybe you would argue that it's still out of date today, I don't know. But Andrea Jung came in, and basically what she did was she studied the inside of the company. She figured out what was wrong with the marketing department, what was wrong with the human resources department, why were they hiring the wrong people. She also figured out that there were a lot of people who had stayed at the company too long, and there wasn't enough turnover for new and fresh ideas, okay? So as a CEO, she set out to completely change the image of the company. Okay, that was her goal, to modernize and change the image of Avon, all right? What I just described to you is a strategic goal. I'm gonna grab a marker. But let me just give you 3 quick keywords to make your life so easy with this slide. Top, middle, bottom. And I'll explain to you what I mean in 1 second. Top, middle, bottom. Strategic plans are plans, goals, right? We said the planning function is goal setting. They're goals that can only come from the top of an organization. Why? Because they affect every single area of the company. Let's think about this. Andrea Jung coming into Avon, her goal was to completely revolutionize the image of Avon. Okay, what departments, and don't tell me everyone, which departments at Avon does that affect? If we're trying to completely change the image of our company, what departments does that affect?
Marketing.
Marketing, great. I would start there for sure. Let's go outside of marketing. What else does it affect?
Human resources.
Absolutely. That is a point that I try to make every term in my branding class. That, man, don't let human resources people say the image of the company has nothing to do with us. You are the front lines of an organization. You are the first impression that lots and lots and lots of people make when they're applying to a company. If you don't drink the Kool-Aid, how are we expecting the rest of the organization to drink the Kool-Aid, right? Okay, so what I went to get my marker for is top, middle, bottom, all right? We're talking about goals. And strategic goals are top. They come from the top. They're big picture and they're long term. How long do you think it took Andrea Jung, and this question's not for Jennifer because she's going to say never. How long do you think it took Andrea Jung to revolutionize, to rebrand, to change the image of the company, Avon? How long do you think it took?
Like how many years?
At least 2.
Let's say 5 years.
Good. You asked the question, Denise, how many years? And that's the perfect question, right? It's not how many months, it's not how many weeks, it's not how many days, it's how many years, okay? And I don't have the exact answer, I don't know. There's probably not an exact answer, but it takes years to accomplish a strategic goal, a strategic plan, because it affects all the areas of an organization. It's got to trickle all the way down, okay? A goal like changing the image of a company is going to take years, not months. Clear? And it comes from the top and it trickles all the way down. Okay. Tactical planning, I'm going to stick with the same example, affects an entire department or an entire function. We probably should learn the word function because we're going to need it later. What is a function at an organization? A function. One of the types of organizational structures we're going to learn later is a functional structure, and I'll explain it to you. What is a function? Organizations have lots of functions. What's a function?
It's what you do. It's the action.
Okay, it's what you do, the different actions that exist in a company. Give me examples of actions. Accounting, sales, marketing, human resources, product development, information technology, design. With me? Those are functions, okay? So a tactical goal usually affects one entire function. So maybe the entire marketing department. Okay, so let's go with that example. So if the strategic plan, Andrea Jung, is we're gonna revolutionize, we're gonna change the image of the company, how does that affect the marketing department? What does the marketing department have to do?
Do a lot of research.
Great. Oh, that's the perfect start.
Yeah.
Start with a whole bunch of research. Who's our competition? How should we be different? What are we missing? Okay, what else you got?
They're gonna have to change the entire way they conduct operations.
Great, okay. What else?
They're gonna have to make changes in their image,
How?
like the company image, maybe by doing different, promotions,
Love it,
advertisements.
love it. New ads,
Logos.
maybe a new logo,
Or,
new website, refreshed website,
campaign.
a new campaign with new models and new typography and new graphic design and new images. Great, okay, all of you are, you're right on, okay? So, who sets a tactical plan? The head of a department. The heads of departments, okay? So a tactical plan would be like the vice president of marketing, the head of the marketing department, setting specific goals that are going to complement the bigger picture goal that's coming from the CEO of the company, which is to change our image. See the difference? Tactical goals come from the CEO, or whoever the top of a company is. Strategic goals. Tactical goals come from department heads, okay? Operational goals come from individual people. Everybody. We all make daily goals. My goal today was to get a report written, finished, proofread, and I did it, okay? It was my individual operational goal. It was what I had to get done today, daily, okay? Didn't affect any part of my organization, it just affected me and my role, okay? Now, if you notice, there are actually 4 types of goals. Strategic goal, big picture long term. Tactical goal, not so much big picture, but big picture for one department, right? A little bit shorter term. Operational, small picture, short term. Everybody good with that? But there is one more kind of planning. And this last kind of planning isn't top down, it isn't big picture, small picture, it's CYA. You heard of that term before, CYA?
Cover your asset.
Cover your asset, I like it, sure. Cover your asset, yeah? How do you cover your asset?
By creating, like,
Composite risk
Regulations.
management.
Yeah.
basically,
Composite risk management.
How about a simple concept of a backup plan? How about having a backup plan? Yeah? But I'm talking about having a backup plan before said bad thing goes wrong. Let me give you an example. What's due next week at 5:30? Final project? Class, right? And you all know you can't pass the class if you don't turn that sucker in at 5:30 next week, right? Okay. So let's think in terms of contingency plan. What could go wrong next? And I've been doing these a lot of years, 11 years. What could go wrong next Wednesday at 5:29-ish? What could go wrong?
Dog-gated.
Dog-gated.
bomb thread.
Bomb threat in the building. There you go. Now we're getting creative. How about as simple as the printer will break down and there'll be no way to print it? I've seen all of this, man, in all these years. How about the worst traffic you've ever seen in your life? How about the worst torrential rainstorm you've ever seen in your life? Right? All of those things could happen. You heard of Murphy's Law? What is Murphy's Law?
Whatever can go wrong will.
Whatever could go wrong will go wrong, right? So managers, good managers who are always thinking ahead, they assess this kind of stuff. They think about what are the things that could go wrong and how would we fix it if it went wrong, okay? In marketing, we call this crisis management, okay? What is a crisis in marketing? It's anything that occurs that's gonna hurt your brand, your image. And we think about it as a brand. What are all the things that could hurt our brand? And how would we fix it? How would we respond? How would we do damage control? What would our message be? How would we apologize? Good managers have contingency plans. Got it? Okay, so let's review before we go. Which of the 4 functions are we talking about? There are 4 functions that a manager performs. Which function are we in?
Planning.
The top, yeah. Okay, and planning is goal setting. And there are basically three levels of goals. When somebody at the top of an organization creates a goal, and that goal affects everybody, what kind of goal is it? Strategic. Okay? When a department creates a goal, and that goal is just for people who perform that kind of function, what kind of goal is it? Great. What's the difference in time? How long does a strategic plan take?
Months, if not years.
Years. How long does a tactical plan take?
Probably a few weeks to a couple months.
Months.
Which one takes years?
Strategic, right? Why? Because a strategic plan affects all components of the organization. It's got to trickle all the way down. An example of a strategic plan is to completely either rebrand or revolutionize the image of a company. That takes years, okay? Tactical takes many months. When an individual employee is setting a goal for themselves over a day or a week, it's a to-do list maybe. What kind of plan is that? Great. But then across all levels, we have cover our butt plans. That's contingency. Got it? The backup. Exactly. It's a contingency plan.
And how long does that take?
It depends. A contingency plan for a strategic situation might take years. A contingency plan for a department might take months, and a
So
contingency.
that goes as long as a.
You got it. Correct. It is across all levels of an organization. Okay? Now, I wanted to show you a quick, well, here's just a visual for you to think about what contingency plans are. Good managers do not wait for stuff to break. Good managers do not wait for a crisis to happen. Good managers don't wait until things go wrong. They identify what are the most probable things that can happen, and then what are the worst case scenario things. Here's the deal. You have to have a plan in an organization. What happens if your facility burns down? What happens if tomorrow your workplace burns down and there's no desks for people to go to? Or, I don't even know with you guys, there was no hospital to go to tomorrow, right? So those are the most extreme examples, but then what are the most probable issues? An outbreak of a,
Electricity?
what's a germ that gets spread in hospitals?
Ebola.
Well, that's super extremely rare.
I mean, sometimes people get pneumonia from hospital pneumonia, like they got
Yeah,
it from
walking pneumonia,
yeah.
right? Okay, so that's a more,
Infections,
an infection, sure. That would be a more reasonable, probable thing to happen. And then Ebola would be like a worst case scenario that we'd have to quarantine, have a plan for that, right? So, but we need contingency plans at both levels, okay? Okay, so I want to get up there and explain to you that chart. All right, take a good look at that chart. Have you guys heard of a SWOT analysis?
strength,
SWOT.
weakness, opportunity, and threat.
You got it. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Okay, so let's talk about strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, because when Andrea Jung got to Avon, this is exactly what she did. She analyzed Avon's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Where are strengths and weaknesses? And I'm too short to draw, so I'm gonna have to climb up. Where are a company's strengths and weaknesses? Well, you guys tell me, what are Avon's, yes, what are Avon's strengths? Even 20 years ago, what were their strengths?
It's like a nationwide,
Great, a well-known brand name that is a household name.
and
Okay.
then they have a variety of products.
Okay, great.
Large variety.
Sure, large assortment of goods, right? Okay, what else you got? What are Avon's strengths?
They also have like employees who are people who represent them.
Okay, the whole direct-to-consumer model, right? Still seems to be a relevant model. Okay, what else you got? What are their weaknesses? Well, I kind of told you already, right? Out-of-date products, out-of-date employees, probably bad hiring practices, an image that really wasn't like nurture enough. They didn't have a lot of social media presence. Okay, so they were out of date. All right, so one more time, I think it was Raul. Where are a company's strengths and weaknesses? Internal. Got it? They're internal, they're inside. Let me give you another word for that. They are controllables. What does that mean? That our strengths, you guys yourselves, your strengths and weaknesses are controllables.
You can be,
You could work on it.
Right, they can be
what's
fixed.
the word, and they can be measured, maybe?
Definitely, yeah, they can be measured, they can be assessed, they can be fixed, right? Okay, so an organization's strengths and weaknesses, they are internal and they're controllable. And this is what Andrea Jung did at Avon at the beginning, was to really study the inside. Study like, okay, who are our employees? What are our products? What's our image? What's our website like? What's our marketing? What are our employment practices? She studied the inside. Okay, the O and the T are opportunities and threats. Okay, so what would an opportunity for Avon be?
Competitor going out of business.
Okay, that's a nice, yeah. Usually when we talk about competitors, we talk about them as the other one, which is a
Right.
threat, right? Most competition is a healthy threat to us.
Collaborate for opportunity.
Okay, great. So an opportunity would be to collaborate with what? With who?
With the subscription, I don't know.
Subscription box. Is that what you just said?
Yeah.
Marketing.
Do you all know what a subscription boxes are?
Yeah.
Right? They're those things you subscribe to and you get a box once a month, and there's all types of subscription box. You got a dog, you get a dog box. You wear makeup, you get a makeup box. Great. So what if Avon could be more relevant and look younger and hipper and fresher and more, more of the Instagram generation if they could get their products into relevant subscription boxes and get people hooked on the product that way? Great example. Okay? That's an opportunity. What else you got? What are opportunities for Avon? Well, we mentioned some of them. How about bringing in new employees? How about bringing in people with fresh ideas to revolutionize the website or social media or whatever the case is? How about engaging with influencers on social media, right? To appear hipper. Okay. And then what are threats? So we already said one threat would be Mary Kay doing those things. What's another threat? You want to hear something interesting about cosmetic companies?
Social media.
One threat
People.
is good economy. In times of good economy, guess what people spend more money on?
Big item.
Yes,
Right?
that's correct. Higher end clothes, higher end big items, and less on budget cosmetics. In bad economic times, do you all know what women do? Some of you do.
Spend money on makeup.
Spend money on quick, cheaper, easier to purchase things that give you a sense of doing something for yourself and staying current with the colors or whatever the case is. And usually that's like a lipstick. It's actually called the lipstick effect, right?
Yeah.
So, in good economic times, companies like Avon actually don't thrive as much as badder economic times. So, the economy is usually a threat, and usually for most companies, that's the bad economy that's a threat. Okay, here's my point. Where are opportunities and threats? External, perfect, exactly. Okay, so here comes Andrea Jung. She studies the internal part of Avon, the strengths, the weaknesses, what's happening inside her company. But then the other thing she really studies is what's going on externally. Who is our competition? What's the economy like? What's going on in the country? Even like the government, right? What are the government policies? And then when you can align, I'm going to use a different word for match. When you can align your company and what you're good at and what you're known for and what the audience, the consumer will accept about your product and service, when you can match it with opportunities and threats, you have formulated a strategy. Have I lost you?
Say it again.
I will. Happy to. So, the way a CEO, the way somebody at the top of an organization sets a strategic goal is to study first the internal environment of the company, the strengths and the weaknesses. Andrea Jung studied the human resources department, the marketing department, all of the components of the company, what products we create, okay? And the weaknesses. Some of the things that I just mentioned were weaknesses for the organization, okay? But then the other thing is we have to study the external, the opportunities, the threats, who's our competition, what's the economy, how do those things affect us? And when we can unite those two things, when we can pair them, when we can match them, okay, we can create a strategy. When we can maximize what we're really good at and what we're really known for with some new opportunity, you've got a strategy. You have formulated a strategy. Okay, so does everybody understand what a SWOT analysis is? It's basically a study of two things: the internal aspects of your company and the external environment that your company operates in. The domestic business environment, the global business environment, politics, the law, the economy, all the stuff that we learned in chapter 2. 1, 2, maybe 1. Got it? That's what a SWOT analysis is, okay? And that is how people set goals, all right? That is how people set goals. Okay, now, written, first time I'm gonna say this fancy line, written question on exam number 3, our final exam, right? Written question on exam number 3, the first one. And the question is, what's the difference between goals and strategy? What is the difference between goals and strategy? And it's really simple. A goal is a starting point. A goal is, I want to lose 5 pounds by May 31st. A goal is, I want to burn 400 calories a day for 15 weeks. A goal is, I want to change the image of our company in the next 2 years. Those are goals, okay? It's a starting point. A strategy, I guess I have to erase the board. A strategy is the steps that we're going to take to get there. Any manager can create goals. Only knowledgeable, experienced managers understand the broad set of organizational plans to implement. Say a simpler way, any manager can create a goal, only knowledgeable managers know how to accomplish the goal. Okay? Does everybody understand the difference between goals and strategy? Goals are a starting point, it's what you want to accomplish. The strategy is how you're going to do it. It's the organizational plans. They could be strategic plans, they could be tactical plans, they could be operational plans. Okay, moving along. Planning, done. Organizing. So what are we talking about tonight? 4 kinds of, beautiful. 4 types of management functions. Beautiful. The first one is planning.
So you said any manager, basically the written question is what's the difference?
Yeah, between goals and strategy.
I put any manager can set the goals, it's the plans that execute the strategy.
What you said is true, but the question's asking you what is the difference between those 2 words. A goal is a starting point. It's what we want to accomplish, okay? A strategy is the steps that we're going to take to accomplish the goal, okay? It's the organizational objectives. It's the stuff we have to do, okay? So my point was that any manager can come up with goals, but the harder piece of that is formulating the strategy, figuring out the steps that we need to take in order to accomplish whatever it is. Example, my goal, lose 5 pounds. The strategy is going to entail me knowing my body and the available time that I have and how my body reacts to food and blah, 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 blah. So what's my strategy? Go to the gym 3 days a week, burn 400 calories a session, eat less than 2,000 calories a day. You follow? Get the snacks out of my house. That's the strategy. That's the stuff I'm going to do to accomplish the goal.
Get new gym clothes.
There you go. That's a piece of it. You know, there are studies that show that when you have like things that you're excited about, you're more apt to do the activity. So, new gym clothes make us more excited about going to the gym, right?
Snickers.
Yeah, I'm with you. Okay, so that's planning. That's the first of 4 managerial functions that we're talking about. So the second one, and this is the topic for the rest of tonight, is organizing. And so what did you guys tell me? When we talk about organizing, what are we organizing? People. Beautiful. We are organizing people, employees. Good. Okay. So this, ta-da, is an organizational chart. And you guys are going to be creating one. This should be the very last thing you have to do for next week's final project. Okay? I hope. I'm not going to make eye contact with anybody. Although I already know a lot of you are super, super, super like far ahead of your project, so that's great. I've read a number of them, and you guys are all doing a good job. And by the way, your freaking exam number 2s, wow, so many A's and B's. Nice work. Okay, so how do I read this? How do I read this mess of boxes? How do I read it? So what's this box here? It says president, but what is this box? What are these boxes? What are these boxes? Can you explain it to me?
Maybe it's the top and then the
The
department.
top is like the CEO.
Good,
The middle is like the departments.
good.
And then the other ones are the manager. No, I don't know.
You're right. See all these people, manager, 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 look who they all are connected to.
The-
VP of sales. Yeah?
Yeah.
This is a department. How do I know it's a department? Because these people report to this person. And so what do you think all of these people do? Something related to sales. What is sales? Word was here. What is
Function.
sales?
Function.
Beautiful. A function. Good job. Exactly. Sales is a function. Production's a function. Marketing is a function. Okay? All right. Before I get into showing you 5 different types of organizational charts, which by the way, tonight's quiz mostly focuses on the 5 types of organizational charts, the 5 types of structures. Okay? We're going to get there in a minute. But I want to explain to you a few things here, and let's go backwards. The first word I kind of already explained to you. The idea of grouping a whole bunch of people together, all of whom do kind of the same function and giving them similar managers, that's called departmentalization. So example, if all of you were, choose something boring, accountants, all right? You're all accountants, and you all report to me. We are a department, okay? We are a group of employees that have been logically grouped based on all of us doing the same function, with me hopefully being the leader, the expert in that function. Okay? So that's departmentalization, simply just grouping people together by similar types of work. Okay? So when I say the word department, I mean a bunch of people that have similar managers who do the same type of work. Okay, that's easy to understand. Span of control refers to how many people a person manages. So let's look. You see this VP? He or she has a little bit larger a span of control than these two. Why?
They have more managers than
Right. This person has 5 direct reports. These 2 people each have 4. Does everybody see that? So this person has a larger span of control. It's just the number of people that a manager manages. Okay? Now, let me make something clear to you. Just because you manage more people or less people doesn't mean you have a bigger or smaller degree of consideration. That's the last thing I want to explain to you on this slide. What is degree of consideration? I'll say it to you in one word: power. Power. What's the number one thing that gives you power in an organization?
title. Being able to make decisions.
What kind of decisions?
Executive.
What does that mean?
I forgot the word.
What's the number one thing that gives you power in an organization?
Influence.
No, it's a word. It was on the quiz. We
Influence
were
is
here.
not a bad word. What's the number one thing that gives you power in an organization?
People.
Well, again, my point earlier was that it doesn't, just because I manage 100 people and this person manages 4 people, doesn't always necessarily mean that the person who manages 100 people has a greater degree of consideration. So it's not just,
Importance of the bigger picture.
but what makes this important?
Their input. Their states.
I will tell you. It's so simple. The ability to spend money. Yes or no?
Yes.
The more power you have in an organization, the more you can control budgets being spent, decisions being made based on money that needs to get spent. That's really what it is, okay? So degree of consideration is, it's the extent to which decision-making power is held, all right? And a lot of times decision-making power is tied to your ability to control a budget or not. And the larger a budget you control, the more power you have. True? regardless of how many people you manage. Think about it. A CEO who's at the top of the company, they usually manage the fewest number of people. True? Usually it's only the few people that report directly to the CEO, but the CEO usually controls the biggest piece of the budget, right? Okay, so that's degree of consideration. It's just how much power you have in an organization, how much authority you have to make decisions. Okay? And usually when we're talking about making decisions, we're talking about those decisions being tied to the ability to spend money. Even hiring a person is the ability to spend money, yes? Because when we hire a person, what do we have to decide?
How much is
Salary, right? And so even if you're a manager who is responsible for hiring people, but you don't get to call the shots on how much to pay them, guess what? Your degree of consideration is not as high as the person who gets to call those shots. Okay, next. Sticking with this theme of power. Power. What is power? Ability to?
Budget.
Oh, yes, that was my point. Yes. But the ability to just make decisions. Not every decision is money-based. But yes, as an example, one important decision that people make is the ability to spend money on things, control budget. Okay, but power is just the ability to make decisions, to call the shots, okay? So there are two Kool-Aids. Let me just serve you two Kool-Aids right now, all right? There are two Kool-Aids to drink when it comes to power. Centralized and decentralized. And I want to explain this simply. Companies that have centralized organization, they hoard all the power at the top. And McDonald's is a great example. Let's think about McDonald's as an organization. Who controls decisions like the menu, the marketing, the interior design of stores, where stores are located, marketing, if I didn't say that already, new products on the menu, product development? Who controls all those decisions?
Like what department?
The board members, executives.
Yeah, that is the right answer. And actually, to Karina's point, it's really the heads of departments. So, if we're talking about a new product, who decides on a new product? The head of the product development department. And if we're talking about a new marketing campaign, who decides on the head of the marketing department, right? You guys understand that no individual owner operator of a store is making any of those decisions, not even decisions about their own interior design of the restaurant. Okay, so that's an example of a company where decision-making authority is held where?
At the top.
At the top. Perfecto. In other companies, that ability to call the shots, to make decisions, to decide on budgets, to decide on things, trickles way down below, way lower down, okay? And those organizations are called decentralized, okay? Decentralized. Okay, let me draw, real quick, an org chart on the board. Try to draw it so that our friends at home can see as well, but
Who's at home? Why y'all ain't here?
thank you. Okay, so here's the CEO, all right? And here's whatever, department heads. We'll make 4 VPs, all right? Vice president. And then under these vice presidents, we have, I don't know, directors. We'll make them D. D for director. Director. And does everybody understand that each box represents a person? Yes? Okay, great. A person, a role. So we've got directors, and then I'm getting lazy, but under them, managers, you get the point, and then under the managers, maybe, I don't know, assistant managers and whatever. We can go down. I can draw on the board. Okay, so if this were an organization where the Kool-Aid is centralized, who's making decisions at the organization? Who's calling the shots?
The VP.
Yeah, if that's the VP of marketing, then this person's calling the shots about marketing. This person's calling the shots about sales. And this person's calling the shots about human resources. Some of these types of companies, like even to hire somebody, this head honcho has to be involved in every single hire the company makes. Okay, we're going to talk more about that in a second. In a decentralized company, who calls the shots?
Everybody? No?
Not everybody.
Not everybody.
Not everybody. Who calls the shots? Yeah. Lower level managers are more empowered to call more shots about more things. I'm going to tell you guys, I've worked for a number of different companies in my career, and as many bad things as I tell you about Ralph Lauren, one kind of refreshing thing about the company was that it's a very decentralized company where people lower down on the totem pole are empowered to make decisions, to manage their budgets, and to call the shots about stuff. Okay? Versus like a McDonald's where all the decisions are being made pretty much at the very top of the organization. Okay? Got it? All right. Very nice.
And what's an example of that? The
Decentralized? My personal example is Ralph Lauren. In my experience, lower level managers were empowered to make a lot of decisions about a lot of things that they didn't have to get approval much higher up. I'll give you another example that I just had. So I took my class on a field trip last week. You were there, or yes, 2 days ago. Yesterday. Yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. You were there. Who else was there yesterday in the intro group? Okay, so Eric. So, you know, Tony, who is our host, is an alum of Wade. I called him up a few weeks ago. Hey, want to come for a field trip? No problem. Let me run it by somebody, and it was great. We went. I've been trying to set up a field trip at Neiman Marcus, corporate, the entire trimester. And I've gotten the following responses. I have to check through human resources, I have to check through the buying office head, I have to check through this person told me to go there, this person, and then the bottom line was you can't come. I just found that out last
We
night.
can come, oh, damn.
We're still gonna go, it's just we're not gonna get to see the corporate office. We're still gonna go there. But why? Because there's so many cooks in the kitchen and there's so many levels of approval, there's so many people involved in a simple thing like a college field trip. With me? It's just the Kool-Aid at that type of organization where it's a much more, here's my fist, centralized environment where there's a lot more people up the chain approving stuff. With me? Okay. I want to say more about that in a second, but let's go through here because this is a really simple slide. 3 levels of management. This is the easiest thing I'm going to teach you tonight. Top, middle, first line. Let me explain to you the difference, okay? Top manager is what we call the C-suite. Have you ever heard of that term, the C-suite?
CEO, CFO, CIO.
Anybody's title who starts with a C is part of the C-suite. CEO, what does CEO stand for? Chief Executive Officer, they're the head, the top. Okay. Chairman, CFO, I know you all remember that from Sarbanes-Oxley law. What is the CFO, Chief?
Financial.
Beautiful officer, yep. CIO,
Chief Information Officer.
good.
CMO.
CM, that was gonna literally be the next word out of my mouth. CMO, Chief Marketing Officer. And we can go on and on. Okay, so that's the C-suite. They're generally top management at a company, okay? Middle managers, you ready for this? Are managers who manage managers. With me? See this person? This is a manager. And who does this person manage?
A manager.
Managers. Got it? So this is kind of middle manager. With me? They're a manager who manages managers. This happens to be a director level. And by the way, when I say the word manager, even the CEO is a manager. You understand that, of course, right? CEO is a manager. What is the CEO managing? People, products, and processes, okay? But this person all the way down here is an assistant manager. They are a first line manager. Why? Because they are a manager who is managing, you ready for this? Non-managerial employees. See this person? Let's call this person assistant. This is a non-managerial employee. This is a first line manager. What makes them first line? They're managing people who are non-managerial. Does everybody get that? Here's an intern, here's a assistant, here's a receptionist, here's a whatever, I don't know, an admin. All of these employees are non-managerial. This manager is managing non-managerial employees. They're a first line manager. This manager and this manager are managing managers. They're middle managers. Middle managers, okay? Top managers, C-suite. So here's a hard question. Where does the VP fall? I'm the vice president at Wade College. Where do I fall? Where does this VP fall? Okay,
Top.
interesting. So we've got both answers here. Is it middle? Is it top? Answer, it honestly, God, it depends on the organization, how big it is, what their role is, how important their department is. Some VPs at a company are middle managers. They may have other people above them. Other VPs are pretty much top management. Okay? They report maybe directly to the CEO, and they're considered a broader span.
So they're top managers.
So, but you're important, so you're like the top manager.
Well, thank you for saying that. I am the top manager because I don't manage one function of the college, I manage them all. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
All the departments at Wade College report to me. Financial services, education, academic, they all report to me. So I'm a top manager. But if I were at another school, let's say a really, really, really big school, I might be considered a middle manager and I may not have all the areas reporting to me. It just depends. So is it top or middle? Again, it just depends. All right? Okay. Back to this organization here. So far we've talked about the idea of centralized, here's my fist again, get it in the camera, centralized versus decentralized power. A company that's centralized makes their decisions where?
Top.
And a company that is decentralized allows what to happen?
Other
Other
lower
managers.
departments.
Perfect. Perfect. Great. Okay. Now, the other thing I want to explain to you is the difference between a tall and a flat organizational structure. So I'm going to draw one more org chart for you here. Don't make me make all these boxes. Can you just envision it? Okay, great. All right. So, what have I drawn here? Is this tall or flat? By the way, this slide has nothing to do with buildings, okay? Just a visual to get you to think about. Imagine the CEO being up there at the top. And then right underneath him or her is their like very senior vice presidents, and then vice presidents, and then directors, and then senior managers, and assistant managers, blah, 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 all the way down to like the lower level people, non-managerial employees. That is a tall organization. What makes it tall?
CEO.
Because of the layers.
Well, a flat organization also has a CEO. This is a flat organization. It has a CEO too. It has somebody in charge. What makes a tall organization tall?
Multiple layers or levels.
People reporting to people, reporting to people, reporting to people, reporting to people, reporting to people. Layers. How many of you are military? One. Anybody else? Think about the military for a second. How many layers is there in the military? Are there in the military? What do you start in the military?
Up to 17.
What do you start as? What's the lowest level?
Prep.
Private. Then what? And there's like P1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah? Then what?
Sergeant.
Sergeant. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then what?
You have non-commissioned officers and commissioned officers.
So what happens after sergeant if I want to get promoted?
No.
I honestly don't know the answer to this.
So after sergeant is just a higher level of sergeant.
Okay, and then what? After I get to the top of sergeant, what happens?
So
Corporal,
basically
colonel.
The way it works out is, in the military, you have non-commissioned officers and commissioned officers.
Okay.
Commissioned officers are just the officers. Non-commissioned officers are the sergeants.
Okay.
The sergeants are imbued with authority through rules, regulation, and law.
All right.
Commissioned officers are imbued with the ability to essentially clarify the gray space.
Okay.
And they're
Keep
also-
going though. I want to rise the ranks. Where can I go after
Like lieutenant
It-
general.
lieutenant?
Yeah, at any point you can jump from enlisted to officer. You
Okay.
just have to have a college degree.
I want to go above lieutenant. What's my next levels?
Second lieutenant, first lieutenant.
Keep going. I want to go higher. Captain.
Major.
Major.
Colonel. 1-star general, 2, 3, 4.
Up to?
Sometimes 5.
President of the United States.
Right. and
Yes?
That's just the.
Which is
military
this?
level.
Okay.
Right.
What have I
Keep
just
in
shown
mind-
you?
Keep in mind, that's the military, and then after the military, you have the Secretary of
Defense.
Secretary of State, then the Vice President, then the President, so that's
Beautiful.
why there's 17. layers.
That's your C-suite.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
What have we just described? You know who we just described? Pretty much what we had at Ralph Lauren. No kidding. I guess receptionist, assistant, coordinator, assistant manager, director, senior director, assistant vice president, senior vice president, executive vice president, division president, up to CEO and chairman. I probably could count 17 layers. Okay, that's a tall organization. Does everybody understand what tall means? Tall means people reporting to people, reporting to people, reporting to people, reporting to people. Layers, okay? Now, a flat organization, it's just the opposite. Not a lot of layers. Now I wanna make one point really, really clear to you. Make sure if you've left me, come back. This has nothing to do with the number of employees. Are you clear? This could be 50 employees and this could be 50 employees. Same number of employees. There's nothing to do with the size of an organization. It simply has to do with how many levels there are of people reporting to people reporting to people. Okay? All right. Let's analyze what we're looking at here.
What's slower communication?
I'm going to get there in 2 seconds. First of all, let's go there now. How quickly do you think this organization communicates down versus this organization?
Is that an example like the Neiman Marcus?
Which one? This one or that one?
The slower communication, which would be the tall, because they have to go through all that and
Good. Yes.
to
Taller organizations take a lot longer to make decisions. Taller organizations have a lot slower communication. Why? Well, think about it. CEO has got to communicate with his or her direct reports, and then it travels down to here, and then it takes a really long time for these organizations to communicate, to make decisions, to roll out new initiatives, to create plans, to make those plans occur. With me? Okay. Flat organization, how quickly can the CEO communicate with all of the employees? Immediately, right? Because there's no level of command, there is no formalities, right? These organizations tend to move faster. Okay, one other thing I want to talk about. Here's the fist again. Power. In these types of organizations, where is the power versus an organization like this where the CEO is pretty much directly managing almost everybody? I'm not saying there's no levels. There may be some levels. There may be some levels.
You drew them all anyway, huh?
I took a rest, I'm back now, I'm good. Gotta burn those calories, right? What was my question? Power.
Power.
Which organization hoards the power at the top? Or here's another way of asking it. Which organization can the CEO be more involved in things? And which organization does the CEO have to delegate tasks?
flat.
Delegation comes with the wall.
Let's think about this.
Because there's no way for the CEO to be on the ground floor of a retail store.
Here or there?
In the tall, you have to delegate your authority and responsibilities and tasks down.
No. Let me tell you why. Because here, you have a CEO who is directly managing sales, human resources, product development, marketing, operations, IT, right? How can the CEO directly manage all of these functions? These types of flat organizations inherently distribute the power, the decision-making authority out across lots of people. These types of organizations, like a McDonald's, they hoard the power up here, right? It's the whole purpose of having lots and lots of layers of approval, okay? So, let's make a couple of generalizations. Flat organizations move faster. Yes, they move faster. And they empower more people to call the shots. Taller organizations move more slowly and they empower less people to call the shots. There's more of a system of approvals. Neiman's, great example. Good? Yes? Okay, sweet.
So the original question.
Will you look at this? I didn't even have to draw it. It was there already. I forgot. There's a flat organization. And there's a tall
The
one.
coffee got you working double.
Does.
Crack coffee. Hey, so what was the original question again? Which CEO is more involved? And you said the flat, right?
In a flat organization, the CEO is less hands-on. Think about it. How could the CEO directly manage all of these people? How could the CEO be involved in every one of these different functions? Much less hands-on. Here, you have a lot more trickling up to the CEO for approvals. These companies tend to operate more slowly and hoard more power at the top. Good? Okay. All right. One last slide before we get to our 5 organizational structures that I really need you to learn for tonight's quiz, and then one I need you to adopt for your business plan for next week. Okay? You can. You can. Okay. And this last topic is, maybe I don't want to erase that. The difference between line and staff authority. Don't bother writing these explanations down, I hate them. I'm gonna explain them to you in plain English, okay? Somebody that has line authority in a company does a job that is directly related to what the company is in the business of doing. I'm gonna say that again. Write it down. Line authority equals a manager that manages something directly related to what the company is in the business of doing. So I'll give you some examples of doing something that a company is in the business of doing. I'm a fashion designer at a fashion design company. I'm a lawyer at a law firm. I'm a product development manager at a fast food company. I'm a doctor at a hospital. Okay? So in all those examples, those are managerial examples of somebody who is doing what the company is in the business of doing. Okay? That's line authority. Staff authority is special support role. So here's an example. I'm going to use all the same examples that I just used. I am a lawyer at a fashion design company. I am an accountant at a hospital. I am a financial services director at a college. Okay, so first of all, do fashion companies have lawyers? Oh, yeah, of course. They're some of the most important people, right? But what does a fashion company do? What is the business that they're in? To manufacture and sell clothing, right? So a lawyer doesn't design clothing, they don't market clothing, they don't sell clothing. What does a lawyer do? What does a lawyer do at a fashion company?
And make sure that no one does copyright.
That's exactly right. They do lots of copyright research. So they're not line authority, they're staff authority, right? They operate in some type of special support role. A college, what does a college do?
It
Teaches,
people.
right. Ideally, it gets people ready for work, right? Somebody in financial services, do they teach?
No.
No, they do something that's in a support role, okay? An accountant. An accountant in almost every single company is a support role. They don't do what the company is in the business of doing. See?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And now the moment of truth.
Coca-Cola.
5 types of organizational structures. Okay? Yes, you need to know them all, but you really only need to choose one for your project next week. Okay, but I'm going to teach you 5 of them. Functional, divisional, matrix, international, and virtual. Okay, and the majority of tonight's quiz is going to be on these 5 organizational structures. Okay, so we've already looked at a bunch of org charts, so you already understand how to read an org chart. You understand that boxes have to be connected to one another because it shows reporting relationship. You understand that organizations are organized into departments, right? Departmentalization is important. All right, so here's how I'm going to do this. I'm going to show you the chart. I'm gonna explain to you how the chart works, and I'm gonna give you a pro and a con for each, and then an example, and these are examples I'm gonna use. Okay, so let's start with the first one. So the first one is called functional. Okay, so we already know what a function is. What's a function? Give me some functions.
Accounting.
Sales.
Accounting.
What is it?
Accounting.
Counting. Great. Give me some more functions. Human resources, marketing, product development, design. Those are functions. Okay, so this is a company where the departments are organized by function. So everybody in this department does something related to
The function.
which one?
Finance.
Finance. These are all people that are somehow related to finance. Okay, hold that thought. I want to show you the next one and I'll come right back. We'll talk pro and con. This is the finance department. Does everybody agree? Yeah? Okay, well, look at the next one. Here's an organization. Do you see a finance department? I see finance
yeah, sorry.
director, finance director, but do you see a finance department at this company? Yes or no?
No.
No. I see 3 departments, but are they functional departments?
Yes.
Yes, I hear no. So remind me again, what are functions?
Department.
No, these are departments too, but they're not functions.
Sales.
What are function?
Sales.
Sales, human resources, marketing. Do you see sales, human resources, marketing as departments here? No.
No.
Okay, so let's go back. I'll explain that next one to you in a second. These are companies that generally tend to be a little bit smaller, or they do one thing. What does American Airlines do? American Airlines
Flies you out?
flies who?
People.
People. Does American Airlines fly cargo?
No.
No, I mean, they fly our baggage, of course, but are they in the business of like FedEx and UPS flying cargo? No, they do one thing. They're in one industry, one business. What business? Aviation, commercial aviation of people, passenger flying, yeah? So, let me explain to you something. Everybody in the marketing department in American Airlines, you know what kind of marketing they focus on?
Marketing.
What?
Wait, I don't know. You just said marketing.
Say it again.
What kind of marketing do all these people focus on?
Traveling.
Aviation, flying, right? They focus on marketing and airline. Okay? And you know these human resources people? You know who they hire? Take a wild guess. Pilots, and ground agents, and flight attendants, and customer service reps for airlines. Yes? They don't have experience designing fashion lines, right? They are specific to an industry. Okay? That's the pro of a functional organization. Everybody in the organization has specific experience in one industry, one product, one service, one specific thing. What's bad about that?
It's easy.
If
Oh, it's bad.
What's bad about
can't,
that?
There's no
Cross, yeah.
layover of skills or anything like that, so if one has an issue, then it can potentially cause the entire house of cards to fall.
Let me show you the third org chart. We'll come back to 1 and 2. This, ta-da, is Martha Stewart Omni Media Incorporated. Okay? And I'll explain to you how to read this. You may not understand it just yet. But you have people across lots and lots and lots of expertises. What's good about that?
They can move around, help out in other areas that might need help.
Okay?
Allows them to adapt a lot better
good for the company.
Adapt to what?
to the environment that they're operating in.
What can this company do, without even understanding the chart just yet, that this company cannot do with this current structure?
Utilize people across.
Okay? Can't argue with that.
Go
You're
back to-
right. Go back to this, the matrix.
Yeah. Or
What can this company do that this company cannot?
involve the have more they have more products.
Great. This company cannot expand into other products or industries. I'll use a stupid example, but if tomorrow American Airlines wanted to design a line of clothing, They could not. A, because it probably wouldn't make sense for their brand, but B, because they don't have the expertise or the structure to do that. Do you agree? Okay, so this is what a functional structure looks like. Everybody in the organization works for a functional department. What does functional mean? Operations, marketing, sales, design, product development. Everybody works in functions, okay, doing the function, but across one industry, one product, one category, okay? Pros, everybody's an expert. Cons, not readily adaptable to change, right? This is a company that's pretty much stuck doing what it does, okay? Number 2 is divisional. H.J. Heinz Corporation. You all know H.J. Heinz. Did you know that Heinz produces everything from gourmet budget frozen dinners to Star-Kissed tuna to Kibbles and Bits cat food? Did you know? Well, if you don't, now you do. And Ralph Lauren, that does wholesale and retail of men's, women's, children's, home furnishings, fragrance, cosmetics, you name it, right? Okay. There is no such thing as a human resources department at H.J. Heinz. There is no such thing as a human resources department at Ralph Lauren. Then how the hell do they hire people? There's no such thing as a marketing department at H.J. Heinz or Ralph Lauren. Then how the hell do they do marketing? There's no such thing as an operations department at H.J. Heinz or Ralph Lauren. Then how the hell do they manage how things get done? Ideas?
No.
Okay.
Computers.
So these companies are organized by divisions. Divisions, make sure you understand that. These are functions, right? These are divisions. What is a division? Products. Product or industry. So at Ralph Lauren, we had 2 divisions. Take a wild guess, which 2 divisions?
Product or what?
Service. Oh, I'm sorry, it's product or industry. Product or industry. So Ralph Lauren, we had 2 divisions. Guess what they were?
Apparel?
Like men and women.
No. Well, we were in 2 businesses. What were they? What
Wholesale,
2 businesses?
retail,
wholesale.
Right, retail and wholesale. So we had retail division, and everybody that worked in the retail division just worked for the retail division. And we had a wholesale division. I worked in the wholesale division. Okay? Those were the 2 main divisions of the company. And then within that, there was men's and women's and children's and home furnishings, fragrance, etc. Okay? In this company, you have a consumer products division, industrial products division, and healthcare products division. And then look, marketing director, marketing director, marketing director. And if we want to do more products, you're going to have marketing director, marketing director, marketing director, marketing. So there's no one marketing department. You have the functions for each specific division. Do you get it? You have individuals or people, departments that conduct that specific function within each of the product categories or industries that we operate in. So for example, at Ralph Lauren, I was the director of retail development. I worked in women's wholesale. There was another me in men's wholesale. And I barely ever met the person. Never even really talked to the person in all the years I've been there. Right? Even though we did essentially the same job, but across 2 different divisions. Do you see? Okay. What's good about this? What's good about H.J. Heinz having a ketchup division, a kitty litter division, a frozen dinner division, and a, maybe even an industrial products division? What's good about that? And having individual marketing directors for each of those specific industries or products. What's good about that?
It looks like you can easily add or remove divisions as needed if
Good.
need be.
Yeah. If tomorrow we wanted to exit one product category, we could do that. Okay. What else? What's good about that? What's good about having marketing director, marketing director, marketing director, marketing director?
Everybody can focus on a task to help grow the company.
Great. Everybody can focus on the specific industry that they're supporting, right? Okay. What else? So you have even more expertise. Agree? Here, we have only one expertise. It's the one thing that we do, the one industry, the one product, right? In this example, airline. Here, we have lots of different expertises because we're in lots of different product categories or industries. Okay, I see wheels turning. Is anybody thinking about divisional for your business plans? maybe there's multiple divisions in your company and you operate them separately. Okay, what's bad about this? Especially from a small business perspective, what's bad about marketing director, marketing director, marketing director, marketing director?
A lot of people doing the same task.
Okay, redundancy, sure. What's bad about that from a small business's perspective?
It's expensive.
Oh,
Of course. A much more expensive way to operate a business, right? More expertise comes more salary, of course. Okay? Does everybody understand? Because we can't go on to the third one until you understand the first two. And you'll see why in 1 second. Does everybody understand the difference between a functional organizational chart where everybody's grouped together by the same functions that they do? I didn't tell you research and development. That's what R&D is. Versus a divisional structure where divisions are the products or the industries that a company's in. It's usually more than one. Do you understand the difference? Yes? Okay. We'll put that to the test right now. Because matrix, the third one, I'm going to give you a definition. You ready? Ready for the definition?
Mm-hmm.
Matrix equals,
Oh, pardon, shut it up. No, never mind.
okay?
I don't know.
Matrix equals functional plus divisional.
Oh, okay.
Got it? Matrix equals functional plus divisional. I'll explain to you what I mean. So we're looking at Martha Stewart Omni Media, okay? Don't look here. Don't look at this column here. Forget all these confusing boxes. Just look up the top here. If I just showed you this, would the company be functional or divisional? Think for a second, and I'll have you vote.
Division.
If I were to just show you this, would the company be functional or divisional? Raise your hand if you think this right here, just this, is a functional structure. Those are functions. Raise your hand. One. Anybody else? Okay. Raise your hand if you think this is a divisional company. Those are divisions. Everybody. Okay. So what are they? What is media and what is merchandising? What are magazines, books, website, radio,
Well, it's functional.
Division.
Kmart, catalog, Sears Paint, specialty? What are those?
Products. Division.
Correct. Those are divisions. There are two divisions at this company. Media is one division, the media division, and merchandise is the other, the merchandise division. Okay. Does everybody understand that so far? Yes?
Yeah.
This is a divisional organization with two divisions. What makes it divisional? Those are products. They're actually almost separate industries. Okay. Now, in any other company, JP Morgan Chase is a matrix company. In any other company, this column here would say human resources, marketing, finance, operations, legal, I don't know what else, sales, okay? In any other company. This happens to be Martha Stewart, so it's a little bit different. But just pretend for a second that this was human resources, finance, marketing, operations, sales, whatever, research and development, whatever. Here's how this company works. If I perform human resources, if I'm a human resources manager, I do human resources across, watch, Martha Stewart Living Magazine, Martha Stewart Book Publishing, MarthaStewart.com, Martha Stewart XM Satellite Radio, Martha Stewart Hallmark Channel, I think, Martha Stewart, these have changed, Martha Stewart Home Depot, Martha Stewart Catalog, Martha Stewart, it's actually not Sears anymore, it's Lowe's.
So
I think
essentially
Lowe's. No, Home Depot.
remove some of the redundancy of the divisional.
No redundancy. What's existing here is that the function is being performed across all of the divisions of the company. Versus, watch, if I am a human resources manager here, where do I do human resources? This is not my job. This is not my job. These may be other buildings in another part of town. I don't do that type. I just do my function in this one division. Here, I conduct my function across all the parts of the company. If I am a marketing manager, I do marketing for all the divisions of the company. Okay, I have lots to say about why this is bad. Why is it good? What's good about this structure? I think we said it already. What's good about this?
Experts in the written,
I don't know if expertise is really a strength here. Do I have that written down? Because if I do, I kind of disagree. In a way,
efficient.
here I'm a human resources manager. Who am I hiring?
Everyone.
Writers and tech people and product development. Man, I'm kind of a jack of all trades. Whereas like here, I am only hiring people in the airline industry, period. That's my expertise. I've probably done it for a million years. I know what pilots do. I know what ground agents do. I know what flight attendants do. Thank you. Yeah, right? But here, like, I'm working across all these different divisions. You can't be an expert at everything. No way.
Yeah, you're just jumping around.
What's good about this? So that's a con. What's good about this?
Very flexible and adaptable.
What can this company do in terms of adaptability?
Provide jobs, or,
Not really. I mean, honestly, if you think about it, if this were a divisional structure, there'd be way more jobs, right? You'd have human resources, but we only have one human resources department working across. So I don't know, this is a way to create less jobs, in a way. What's good about this? See what I said? You guys can come up with lots of things that are cons, right?
What about, well, having a,
Well, I want to get back to the point you made. Adaptability. What can this company do? How can this company adapt? Think about it. We've seen it with the Martha Stewart company. They've been through good times and bad times. What can this company do easily?
grow together?
How would they grow? How could this company grow?
Because you're training from one, like you can adapt.
And what can this company do easily? Expand what?
business? Or
How? Come up with some crazy idea. If tomorrow Martha Stewart wanted to manufacture automobiles, could it? Yes. How? Under the merchandising division, we can add another division for automobiles, and then the human resources department can hire for that. With me? So this type of organization can easily expand. It can also it can contract easily, and not a lot of people lose their jobs. If tomorrow the Hallmark Channel said bye-bye, we could easily fold this division and very few people would lose their jobs. Agree? Because all of these people would still work across all the other divisions. So, the only con I need you to be aware of in these matrix organizations is it can ebb and flow and move and change, and you can add divisions and subtract divisions. You can fly with the wind. Okay? And it doesn't really affect the structure that much of this organization. Chase, you guys familiar with JP Morgan Chase? They are also a matrix structure. So when you work at Chase, you work across lots of different parts of the company. Cons. Let me ask you a question.
What's the last thing you
What's the last thing I said?
On.
In my head or out loud?
said?
In my head I said I should keep drinking my coffee. Out loud I said, no, I said when you work for JP Morgan Chase, you work across all the parts of the company, just like at Martha Stewart. Cons. Let me ask you a question. How many of you manage people? How many of you manage people?
Like a manager or
Manage. How many of you manage people? I manage people. You guys, today alone, let me tell you how many of my employees were out. Quite a few, okay? When you manage people, what do you depend on? Besides them showing up to work. What do you depend on?
backup plans, like in case something goes wrong.
Okay.
I work at a daycare and we have to manage the
Good.
workers, so if
Good.
let's say a person calls in, oh, I don't feel good. I manage to see how the kids are going and how workers are going and see if I can get someone in faster.
Beautiful.
Or if I
Great.
gotta go in a room.
Great. So what if the person who's calling out sick, why do they call you?
To tell me like, I won't be here instead of just showing up and making everything worse than what could already be short.
Yeah. But why do they call you to tell you they're gonna not be there?
Accountability.
Boom.
Oh,
Accountability. Right? They're accountable to you.
yeah,
And if I just don't show up to work today, how are you gonna handle that?
you get fired.
I'm fired automatically, right? One no call, no show is a fire.
It's a daycare, especially like if you have an important thing, like if you work with babies and you're the other teacher or you're a bus driver.
It's a massive responsibility
That's
to
crazy.
care for somebody's baby. Yes, it's a massive responsibility.
Happened
Okay,
last week.
so they're accountable to you, right?
You're just fine.
Let me ask you this question. What if you work in this department and you report to boss number 1, boss number 2, boss number 3, boss number 4, boss number 5, boss number 6, boss number 7, boss number 8, boss number 9? You got 9 bosses.
That's too much.
Let me ask you a question. Are you accountable? No. You can tell boss number 1 one thing, boss number 6 another thing, boss number 3 another thing, and all of a sudden you got people managing people across. It's a mess. Do you see? There's no real accountability. Lack of you don't have a lot of accountability because you don't have I erased it, but I should have done that. Individual people managing individual people. Do you see? Like I've been drawing on the board. There's not straight lines that connect. It's a mess. It's a situation where you have so many people reporting to so many people that who the hell's accountable to who? I don't know. Okay? So it's a lot more of a chaotic environment. All right? Okay, questions. The last 2 are really easy. Can we review before we go?
Please do.
Okay, let's review so you can get all these right on the quiz. If I'm a company and I have 3 departments, human resources, marketing, and finance, what kind of company do I have?
Function.
If I am a company and I have 3 departments, books, games, and toys, what kind of company do I have? Divisional, beautiful. Why?
Because they're products.
Beautiful, exactly, because products are divisions. If I am a company and I have 3 departments, books, games, and toys, but I manage human resources, marketing, and finance across all of books, games, and toys, what kind of company do I have?
Matrix.
Matrix. Understood? The functions are conducted across all of the divisions. Functions, divisions. Okay, beautiful. The last 2 are so easy, you're gonna be so happy. You ready?
Yes.
Number 4, international. Okay, so you might be sitting here saying, Mr. Conti, American Airlines is international, they fly all over the world. H.J. Heinz is international, they sell all over the world. Ralph Lauren is international, they sell all over the world. Why would those companies not be considered international but Coca-Cola international? I'll explain to you. Martha Stewart, Ralph Lauren, American Airlines, H.J. Heinz Corporation all have basically one corporate office, and everything that they sell across the world doesn't change. It's basically the same business model no matter where they go. A gate at an airport is a gate at an airport, it doesn't matter what country you're in. American Airlines will fly there, but the business is operated the same. Okay? A polo shirt's a polo shirt. A can of tuna is a can of tuna. H.J. Heinz. Coca-Cola, not true. Coca-Cola, its business model changes in every part of the world that it does business with. Even the product itself is different. You know that, right? Even Coca-Cola itself, the formula is different almost in every country. It tastes different, it's formulated different. In Russia, it tastes like licorice. In Mexico, it's cane sugar.
I was just about to say, yeah, Mexico.
In the United States, it's
not good.
chemically laden because we love chemicals in the United States, right? Okay, so here you've got the CEO of Coca-Cola and you've got the American division, but then you have different offices, international, Latin America, Europe, Asia, and the business model is different in each part of the world. That's all. That makes the company international structure because they have divisions based in various parts of the world. They're based on geography.
I like that.
Got it? And the product changes. Martha Stewart is Martha Stewart. Ralph Lauren's Ralph Lauren, American Airlines, but with a company like Coca-Cola, the business model changes in each part of the world. Easy. Okay, ready for the last one? Okay. Yes?
Yes.
All right, here we go. Tell me how this last chart, virtual, looks different than the other 4 that we looked at. Functional, divisional, matrix, international. How does this chart look different?
Like, I don't know how to say it, like,
Because the functions are
Looks like everything is outsourced or contracted.
Okay. The boxes are not connected. Agree?
great.
Here, the boxes are all nice and neatly connected. Boxes are neatly connected, yes? Okay, so with virtual, these are companies, and by the way, virtual has nothing to do with like .com or technology. This could be any kind of company. Some of you may like this structure. Where the core of the company is operated by the company itself. So maybe it manages, it handles its own operations, it might handle its own finance. But the majority of all of the functions are outsourced. What does the word outsourced mean? So our manufacturing is outsourced, and our accounting is outsourced, and our human resources is outsourced, and our distribution is outsourced, and our sales and marketing is outsourced. All the functions that we've been talking about in this class today are outsourced. What does outsourced mean?
Happens outside of the organization.
Right. It's simply that this company is hiring another company to do it, and 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 another company to do it. Okay. Now you might be thinking in your heads, Mr. Conti, isn't that like every single company? Like when I call AT&T and I know I'm talking to India, like does that make AT&T virtual? No. Mr. Conti, when I buy a shirt at the Gap is using a factory in China. No. These are companies where the majority of all of the functions are being done by other companies. Every company outsources something. Wade College outsources. You know what we outsource? Our IT. So we have another company that manages our IT. Okay? That doesn't make us virtual. Why not? Because all the other functions, human resource, finance, is being done here by our employees. What's good about this?
If you're not good at something, you can hire somebody else that's good to do it for you.
Okay, fine. Hire the experts in all of the different areas to do it. Sure. What else? What's good about this?
Less expensive.
I don't know. Well, I'll tell you why it might be less expensive. So think about you taking out an office in the Infomart. If these are all your employees, what do you need to provide for all of these employees?
So,
What?
salaries.
Okay, and? Equipment and a desk and a chair and a telephone and space and a parking space and blah, right? So all of a sudden, our plant, our facility, we have to provide for all these people. Whereas in a virtual organization, I don't need these people to have, my rent is lower, my facilities, my operations, because these are not my employees, they work somewhere else.
They could have their own opportunity or
They
work online.
they work at another company. That other company is absorbing the cost. Okay? What else is good about this?
You don't have to be
It's cheaper.
bothered with people.
I don't know the answer to that. I don't know if this is a cheaper model or if this is a more expensive model. It's cheaper in terms of just our direct operating costs because we don't need as big a facility, we don't need equipment and computers. But are we paying these companies more for the services? I don't know.
It might break even.
Everything's a la carte. If you need more, contract out more work, then you just contract more work. If you don't need it, then you don't contract it.
Great. So if we're in expansion mode and we're selling more stuff, then boom, more work for these companies. If we're not, then we're not laying off people and closing part of our facility, right? So it's a little bit easier to expand and contract and expand and contract. Good. What else?
Can you give an example of a successful company?
I honestly don't have one. I will tell you that lots of like tech startups are this. You know, think about all your favorite things that you buy on Instagram. Shoe company, this company, that company. A lot of them are virtual. A lot of them are hiring one company to do the marketing, one company to actually ship you the product, and another company to do some of the finance stuff, and another company is making the goods. They're really just a little shell of a company that's hiring 6, 7, 8 other companies to do all the work.
Which is not that productive nowadays. So I feel like if you don't put in as much as you won't get out of it.
Okay, so that's what let's get to the con then. The biggest con is what do you lose? Control. Just write that down. Control.
You split the profit, like.
That too, so maybe our overhead might be higher, but the biggest thing you lose is control. If you're not doing the manufacturing, if you're not doing the marketing, if you're not doing the sales, if you're not doing the distribution, if you're not doing the accounting, man, if you're not doing the accounting, right?
Get robbed.
Maybe. So, that's the biggest con here is that you lose control. Okay, let's review. And then I have quick little case study video, written question on exam number 3. That's the second time I've said that tonight. Yes? Think so. Okay, so before we get to the video, let's review. I'll give you an example. You tell me what kind of company. All right? Bless you. I am a company. I have 4 departments: automobile, pharmaceuticals, clothing, and edibles division. Why? Because those are divisions. They're product categories. Okay. I am a company. I have 4 departments: Asia, Europe, Latin America, Africa.
International.
Right, so my company's organized based on where I sell geographically. I am a company. I have 4 departments: human resources, finance, marketing, and operations. Functional, good job. I am a company. We have human resources, marketing, and finance internally. And then we outsource marketing, we outsource product development, we outsource finance. Virtual. And then the last one, I'm a company. We sell books, games, and toys. We have human resources, finance, and operation, and those functions are conducted across the products. Okay. Nantucket Nectars, you know them?
Yes.
Where do you know them from? Do you physically? Really? No? Okay.
Downstairs. I think so.
Totally downstairs, yes. Chipotle?
Chipotle.
Absolutely, Chipotle does. Chipotle is sometimes my Wednesday night dinner, just gonna let you all know, because it's the only thing open.
Scared of Tuesday.
At 10 o'clock. I'm scared of Chipotle? No, I've never had the runs from Chipotle. So, what?
Knock on wood.
Okay, good. Knock on plastic here. Nantucket Nectars. Here's the question for the exam. Okay? Question is Nantucket Nectar's organizational structure tall or flat? And what structure? Functional, divisional, matrix, international, or virtual? That's what you're listening for. Okay? Are they tall or flat? And which of the 5 functions, structures? Functional, divisional, matrix, operation, international, or virtual. Clear on the question?
Yes.
All right, here we go. You gotta check the sound? Let's give it a shot.
Drink water.
Hey, what I'm Tom. I'm Tom. We're just guys.
This building used to be a Harvard fraternity house here in Cambridge, Massachusetts, but today it's home to the Juice Guys of Nantucket Nectars. Juice Guys Tom First and Tom Scott started their business in 1989 with a blender and the idea for a peach nectar drink.
Originally, this is our factory here. It was a Hamilton Beach 7-speed. We had 8-speed, but it broke, and we got the 7-speed. We used to chop, and then we switched over to liquefy. We figured out where to make liquid when you're on the edge. And then this happens, you just put it in a bottle, and then you kind of put the button cap on.
They sold the concoctions from their boat off Nantucket to folks visiting the island. Today, their privately held company makes 48 flavors of juice drinks, ranging from the best-selling orange mango to super nectars with names such as Mama Calcium, Beta Carrot, Protein Smooth, and Vital C. The juices are all natural with no artificial colors, flavors, or preservatives. In the early stages of the company's life, there was little need for organizational charts and structured communication. The 2 Toms did it all.
This is the boat right here. It's the entire business. Everything ran out of here. Marketing department, sales department, accounting, right here. Everything. Complete administration in the boat.
But as the company has grown, so has the need for structure. Today, the company houses 40 full-time employees in that fraternity house and has over 250 sales representatives and distributors that cover 40 states and several foreign countries. As a result, a formalized organizational chart now exists. Mark Helendra, president and one of many Juice Guys, has seen the company grow.
I describe Nantucket Nectars as a flat organization where a lot of people report to me, but they're self-contained departments, and I really rely on them to make decisions and perform all the tasks that are necessary, and just keep me informed and in the loop in case decisions need to be made. When we were small, it was really a team approach, and we just sort of evolved from there. In the beginning, we had 10 or 12 people in the office, and everyone sort of did everything and worked together. And over time, we've just built those relationships where I think you need to have a flat organization, you need to have trust in each other, and you need to respect each other. And I think over the years, we've built that, and it was just a natural evolution from where we started.
As a result of the company's growth, jobs have become increasingly specialized. The Juice Guys realized that no one could do everything and do it well.
We need departments because as we've grown, the business has become more complicated and specialized. So people need to be more specific in their skills, and they need to answer more direct questions. And it's so you need departments. You can't have the generalists like we had in the beginning, where you just, I was doing sales. I'm not a salesman, or I was doing marketing, and Tom first would do a little bit of accounting, and he failed accounting in college. So it was, it worked. But now the stakes are higher. Our responsibilities are greater. So you need specialized people in those departments. But then you also need to make sure that those departments really have a breadth of knowledge across all different areas, so that you can make decisions quickly. Accounting people understand marketing and sales, and vice versa. So everyone, when we sit down, it's not a situation where people need to explain their perspective or where they're coming from. It's very, you get to the issues quickly, and you can resolve them quickly as well.
The company's growth also has triggered a need for structured communications. One way company news is communicated is through the regular Tuesday morning meeting held in the headquarters small conference room. Here, employees gather to learn what's going on and inspire one another to keep focused on the company's goals, such as its quality initiative called the Quality Juice Evolution Solution, or QJES. This meeting is a big part of the culture here, as are the dogs that come to work each day with their owners.
The Tuesday morning meetings are important because it's part of our heritage. It's something that we've always done, and for me, it always reminds me of what things were like in the old days, and those old days remind you of what's important. I mean, selling the quality juice, providing QJES, those are all the things that we're really here for. And your schedule gets filled up with other regular meetings, and you talk about issues, and it's easy to lose sight of what you're really there for at the end of the day. And so that's one aspect of it. The other part is it's just fun. It adds something fun to your week. I mean, you go in there and you learn about serious things, and it's great that people interact and you learn about some of the issues that are going on, but you also learn things about Kelly Testa's wedding, or a sampling down in Falmouth, and who wore the bottle costume. It's just fun to hear those stories or see pictures and just kind of goof around on a Tuesday morning.
Another form of communication used by Nantucket Nectars is the company's intranet, called NectarNet. This web-based communication tool is particularly useful for employees who are not based in Cambridge.
The NectarNet was developed because we've got 130 employees, and 90 of them are spread out all across the country. 40 are here in Cambridge, and there was always this home office versus the field, distance equals evil problem that went on. And we said, how can we make this disappear? How can we make sure that the office knows what's going on in the field, and how can we make sure that the field feels a part of the office? So with technology, the internet's great, where people can just dial in, log on, and everyone knows what's going on, from simple, silly little things like who's on dish duty for a week to something important like a wall-off presentation down in New Jersey or something like that. So it's just been a great communication tool for the company.
From time to time, teams are assembled to help accomplish tasks. Recently, Nantucket Nectars embarked on a project to replace its existing accounting system with a comprehensive system called an Enterprise Resource Planning, or ERP system. The existing system was failing big and had to be replaced.
We decided we needed an ERP system because we outgrew our existing system. We had a record summer last year, and we were literally doing all the accounting transactions in the system 6 to 8 weeks after a specific transaction took place, meaning if we shipped something today, we wouldn't send the invoice out at times for 6, 7 weeks after it actually shipped. Obviously, that has massive cash flow implications and financial reporting implications, and it was a nightmare. The system would crash every other day, and our customer, it was a hilarious situation where our customers would call us asking us where the bill was because they couldn't get their books right. So it was just, they were begging us to send us a bill so that they could pay us. It was very rare, but that just shows you how extreme it was.
Oracle Corporation's software package was chosen for implementation. People from every area affected by the new system were on the project team. Most team members had been with the company a long time, so team conflict didn't occur. When problems arose with the implementation, everyone pitched in to fix them. After all, with an integrated computer system, a problem in one area affects all others. With only 5 months to implement the system, team members put in overtime, performing their regular job duties in addition to working on the team.
The biggest pressure in the implementation phase was getting the implementation done by the end of March. We set February as our go live date, primarily because we're a seasonal business and we're selling so much juice in April, May, June, July, August that there's no way we could be working out the bugs in a new ERP system. We had to take our time in October through January to really learn the system, make sure all the user procedure manuals were written and everybody understood the training, go to the classes and all that, and then really go live on March 1st so that we knew what we were doing with the system once we hit the busy season. If we missed that date, we were in the same position we would have been in the previous year.
As a result of this team's effort, the Oracle software package was installed on time and on budget. Now every member of the organization is able to benefit from its use. Today, Nantucket Nectars has all the ingredients in place for continued company growth. The organization's structure, communication, and teams are perfectly blended to accomplish the goals before them.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll cut it off right there. So, let's answer the obvious and easy question first. Tall or flat?
Flat.
Flat, right? And it's flat because a whole bunch of people report to?
One person.
No, the same thing, did they perform to agree people?
A whole bunch of people report to who?
CEO.
CEO, right. So most of the people in the organization just report directly to the CEO. That makes it a flat organization. Okay. The not so obvious question. Is it functional,
Yes.
divisional, matrix, international, or virtual? Okay, what would the hints be? The hints would be, what were the departments they discussed? So what did we hear in the video? What departments exist at Nantucket Nectars?
Marketing,
I
sales.
heard about a marketing department, I heard about a sales department, I heard about accounting department that the guy that failed accounting was running, right? And how many industries are we in? How many products does this company sell? One. What kind of company? Functional. Functional, right? Why is it functional? Because it focuses on one industry, one product, and the departments are functions: accounting, finance, marketing, operations, etc. All right.
And isn't it not, international as well as it's
No. Why not? Well, Mr. Conti, they said they sell internationally. Yeah, but how many corporate offices are there? One, and not Harvard Fraternity House, and they don't change their products, right? It is the same product the world over. So it is one functional structure. All right. You guys ready to take your quiz?